Hey folks, welcome to the second edition of the Take It to the Max Sports Show. If you didn't get a chance, check out on YouTube our pilot episode. The network execs loved it so much they ordered 12 more shows. No, just joking. We're just two sports guys. We used to sit in bar stools and talk sports. Now we sit in a room and do it without the bad beer breath. So enjoy the show. We're studying or here live at the Flying Whippet Production Studios. So, Max, I think we're going to talk a little Cowboy football. Not that I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm a Bengals fan, so long suffering. Which way does it start?
It goes to the front. The start goes forward, yes.
Okay. Well, here it goes. We're going to talk about the Cowboys and their schedule tonight.
Very good. Again, happy Thursday evening, everyone. And as Drew said, we are going to go over the Cowboys schedule for 2021. So, right out of the chute, the Cowboys on Thursday night are going to be going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that is at 7 p.m., and it'll be nationally televised with the defending Super Bowl champs. So, I don't think the Cowboys will be able to do very much with that Tampa defense. So I'm going to say the Cowboys will lose that one. So they'll start off 0-1.
No, I agree. I mean, Tom Brady, the guy's he's amazing. He's one of those guys you just love to hate, perfect wife, perfect life, it seems like. Don't bet against him. I tried back in my former days. He will burn you every time. Finding out now that he played with injury, which should be interesting.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big part, too, is the Cowboy defense is going to be able to kind of exploit that injury, which I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I think Tampa rolls in this game, and they might, if we were to predict scores, I'm going to go 34-14.
Yeah, I mean, it should be an ugly game, ugly start to the Cowboys season of all teams. Now, Brady was playing with this injury last year?
Correct.
Any thoughts on what the league may do, or is there anything coming down the road,
I think it'll be something where, again, he'll get a slap in the hand, just pretty much, next time let us know, but they won't do anything. It's Tom Brady, and, when they talk about protect the shield, he knows how to protect the shield, and they'll be able to just kind of sweep this one under the rug. Let's move on and defend the title.
So, having said move on, we both agree the Cowboys 0-1. That's a Thursday night game, right?
Thursday night game.
Interesting, because they play quite a few primetime games. So, interesting.
They do, and that's part of being the Dallas Cowboy with their brand as well. So we'll move on to week number 2, which this one, they are going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, and that is going to be Sunday, September 19th. Now, one quick thing about this one, Drew, I have the Los Angeles Chargers playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, kind of stepping ahead a little bit here in the AFC Championship game. So with that being said, the Cowboys, for me, are going to be 0-2 going into the third week. Your opinion?
Yeah, the Chargers are up and coming. It's going to be difficult. Road game or home game on that one?
It's going to be another road game.
Yeah, 2 road games. Tough start. 0-2.
0-2. Good.
Are we calling for McCarthy's job yet, Cowboys fans?
Not yet. We'll wait until Thanksgiving for that. So, all right. Now we're going to week number 3. Week 3, that is going to be September 27th, and that is going to be a Monday night game, and that's the opening game in the AT&T Stadium in Dallas or in Texas, and they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. That one, I will see the Cowboys with their first win because Philadelphia has a lot of questions. Young quarterback with Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to have a better year than he did last year, but there's still a lot of questions with Philadelphia. I have him going, winning that game and 1-2. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback for Philly, he's young. He's had a few growing pains last year, but, hopefully they'll get their quarterback situation settled. It's been kind of unsettled the last couple of years. Having said that, the Cowboys always seem to find a way to lay an egg at home for some reason, but I think they'll win that game.
They better win that game.
Yeah, better win that game.
So, okay, good. So now we are both in agreement. We both have the Cowboys at 1-2. Now going into the fourth week, The fourth week, the Panthers from Carolina are coming to play the Cowboys, and that is going to be October 3rd. And that's pretty simple. With the Panthers having a lot of injuries last year, a lot of questions, trying to find a quarterback, I have the Cowboys winning that one at home as well, and have them even up for the season at 2-2 at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with everything you're saying there. Should be 2-2 at that point.
Good. Okay. Let's go to week number 5, and that's going to be the Cowboys are going to be hosting the Giants, and that's going to be October 10th, and that is a Sunday game as well. One of the things about this one that's kind of interesting is the Giants, with a lot of the free agents that they picked up this year, it is going to make their team a little bit stronger. But the biggest question is going to be Barkley. How is the running back going to come back from that injury? We'll see. And this will be one of those weeks where it's already at the halfway or fifth game of the season, and I think Barkley's going to answer a lot of questions for us. I don't think it's going to be enough, so I'm taking the Cowboys on this one, and I'm saying they're going to be 3-2.
I agree with what you're saying. I just like the Giants in this game. You know, I can't say why. I think Barkley will have a strong game. They always struggle against the Giants, more so when they're playing at the Giants Stadium. But I'm going to go with the Giants in this one.
Okay, so we disagree, but I have the Cowboys winning that one, and I have them at 3-2.
Now that's the first conference game of the
divisional game. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's just second.
Second, that's right.
Yeah, because they already played Philly. Now they're playing the Giants. So, Yep. So now we're going to move to the next game, which is going to be the 6th game of the season. And the Cowboys are actually going to New England. And this is going to be October 17th. It's a Sunday game. And I think New England is making a lot of changes. And they've actually, the head coach, Belichick, has made it a point where he's already making sure that everybody understands this is Cam Newton's team, and Cam Newton's going to be ready for this game. I don't see any surprises from the Patriots from this standpoint. I see the Cowboys losing. So at this point, I have them at 3-3. I don't think they upset the Patriots in New England.
I don't think so either, but you said Newton. You know, could Jones be the quarterback by then? Could Newton have already played himself out of the
I like that you brought that up, because Cam Newton knows this is his last shot. He's actually been practicing a lot more from reports out there. He's healthy, and he's really learning the system, spending some extra time with the players and the coaches. He's got a different mindset this year, because he knows, as you bring up a good question, if he doesn't do well here in New England, he knows he's actually presenting himself or putting himself out there so he can maybe open some eyes somewhere else with other teams. But he knows this is his last shot, so he does have to be impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If he hasn't done anything first couple games, you may see Jones at quarterback, which is interesting. We'll see what happens. So Right now, the only thing Newton stands out is his outfits and press conferences. But
hopefully he can do well and come back. And if he does, I think New England has a shot to make the playoffs, but also do something in the playoffs. But I still have the Cowboys at this point 3-3.
Okay. I'm going to give them a win also.
Okay. Well, I gave them a loss. So we now are tied again. So now we're going into the 7th week. The Cowboys are going to Minnesota and playing the Vikings October 31st, which is a Sunday night game, and that's Halloween. This Halloween night will be special because I think the Cowboys are going to bring out a lot of their weapons, a lot of their ghosts and goblins and whatnot, and I think they're going to pull out a victory in Minnesota. I said that backwards. They're going to lose to Minnesota, so I have them 3-4 this week.
Yeah, Minnesota's got a good team this year. They've had their ups and downs, but I see the Minnesota Vikings winning this game also. Okay,
so we're tied 3-4. All right, good. Going to the next one. This is going to be the 8th week. The Broncos are playing at the Cowboys, and that's going to be a Sunday game, November 7th. The Broncos are not doing well. They didn't do well last year. They don't have a quarterback. They really don't have a defense. This will be easy for the Cowboys, 4-4.
Yeah, I agree. Broncos are a hot mess. Move on. Cowboys are probably have Gilbert in the fourth quarter.
Probably, hopefully. Hopefully they can do that. All right, we're going to week number 9. Week number 9, the Falcons are coming to Dallas, and that's going to be November 14th, Sunday. And the Falcons lost their best player. When you lose your best player, especially as a receiver, there's going to be a lot of questions. Can the younger guys step up? The Falcons also have questions on defense. I don't know. I just don't see them doing well this year, and I see this one as the Falcons losing, the Cowboys winning. I have them at 5-4.
Did they pick up their coach, one of their coaches?
They did. The Falcons, their defensive coordinator is now the defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn, for the Dallas Cowboys, which is going to strengthen their defense, which there is going to leave a hole and a gap with the Falcons, and that's why I think they're going to struggle a little bit on defense this year as well. Good point.
Yeah. So I think he makes a statement against his former team. I think the defense comes ready to play. I like the Cowboys' defense this year. I like Gregory on the end. I think he's going to have more opportunities than he had last year. Starting sacks last year with limited playing time. So if he keeps his head on his shoulders, I think the only question marks really on the defense for me personally are defensive back. You got the Alabama kid,
James, yeah.
But there are some question marks at defensive back.
I think with Dan Quinn putting them in the right spots this year, they're gonna fill up a lot of those holes and answer a lot of questions. So I think they'll do well. This one I have the Cowboys winning, so it'll be 5-4, and we'll go to Week 10. Week 10 is interesting. It's the Cowboys going to play the Chiefs on a Sunday, which is November 21st, and I have the Chiefs winning that. There's no way the Cowboys are gonna even come close to that one. It'll be a tough game, but I think the Chiefs pull away the last quarter, and they're going to be the Cowboys by two touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that Casey's stacked. There's no way you can get around that. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I like the Cowboys' offense this year. The offensive line has got some continuity. If Zeke comes back and plays like the old Zeke with the receivers they have now, like Lamb and the former Raider.
Cooper.
Mm-hmm. I mean, talented duo. So I think it's a high-scoring game. I think in the end, KC probably pulls it out.
They will. So I have them losing that game. And do you have them losing that game?
Yes.
So 5-5. All right. So now we are Week 11, and the Raiders come into town, and they're playing the Cowboys on November 25th, and that is Thanksgiving Day. That is going to be the 3:00 afternoon game. Against the Raiders. I think the Cowboys are going to pull this one off. They seem to surprise people sometimes on Thanksgiving. So as we're all waking up from our naps from eating too much turkey, we'll have a nice smile because the Cowboys will pull this one out, and I have them at 6-5 at this point.
Yeah, I see a snowstorm in Dallas. The ball tumbles in the end zone. Leon Lett drops. I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Good. All right, so we have them at 6-5. Going to Week 12, the Cowboys are going to New Orleans, and that's going to be December 2nd, and that's going to be a Thursday night game. Now, at this point, if this game were earlier in the season, I might give it to the Cowboys because we still have a question about who's going to be New Orleans quarterback, and I think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be a dual timeshare with the head coach over there in New Orleans. So at this point, I think it's so late in the season that New Orleans quarterback's questions are going to be answered, and I think New Orleans pulls this off.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting to see if Winston survives the whole season, but he's got question marks just like Newton.
Yeah,
so
he does.
It'll be interesting to see. But I got that going to New Orleans.
Good, man, because I think he's going to do well, and he's going to throw up a lot of touchdowns, but I think he's going to throw a lot of interceptions as well. But I think they beat the Cowboys. So we agree on that one. So we're still at 6-6 going into the next week, and the Cowboys are going to play the Washington football team. So that is going to be December 12th, and that's Sunday. With that one, Washington defense is great. It's one of the best defense I've seen in a while. They remind me of the old Bears defense back in '85, and then the Ravens defense as well. I don't think the Cowboys have enough to beat them. That's pretty simple. I have the Cowboys losing that one, 6-7.
I agree. I mean, it's probably going to come down to when it's all said and done, it's going to come down to the Redskins and the Cowboys for the division. But I do see the Redskins winning that game.
Okay, so right now we are at 6-7 going into the next week against the Giants. The Cowboys are going to New York to play them on December 19th, and that is going to be on a Sunday. That one, Giants are going to improve quite a bit. I think with the coaching staff that they have. I think they're solid. I really do like the Giants. I know that a lot of people aren't picking them to do well. I personally think that they have a good structure and foundation, even with the quarterback from Duke Jones. I think he's going to do well. I have the Giants pulling this one off, and I have the Cowboys at this point 6-8.
When you say that, Dallas is always going to have that lay an egg game, a team that they should beat that they don't, and I think this will be one of them. Mark me down for the Giants beating the Cowboys.
All right, so now we are at 6-8, and the next week following that is going to be Washington coming to Dallas, and that's going to be December 26th. That's a Sunday night game, and I think with Sunday night games right after Christmas, I think the Cowboys have payback to Washington. They will pull this one out. Maybe it'll be a 13-10 game. Cowboys, I have them winning that one, and I have them at 7-8.
Yeah, right when you write off the Cowboys, I can see them pulling this game off. So I actually agree with you that they beat the Redskins.
All right. Going to the next one, it's going to be on, the Cardinals coming to Dallas. That's January 2nd. That's a Sunday game. I don't see it with the Cardinals right now. The biggest question about them is, there's a lot of questions, but they're not really solid. I don't think that they have their structure there with their running back and their defense. And even today, the receiver Hopkins is talking about maybe retiring because he doesn't want to get his vaccine. With that being said, if you're a leader of a team, you want to set the example. I know there's a lot of questions out there. I don't see the Cardinals doing well, especially in that division. Coming into Dallas, I have Dallas winning this one, and I have the Cowboys at 8-8 at this point.
I'd agree with you. A lot of disarray with the Arizona Cardinals right now. Will that continue throughout the season? Probably. So I'm going to give that one to the Cowboys.
And also, it'll be interesting to see if their coach that came from college moved up to the NFL, if he's going to be able to sustain what he's doing as well, because he needs to show improvement. If not, I think he'll be on the hot seat. I'm just kind of throwing it out there now. All right. And the last game is going to be January 9th. That's a Sunday game, and that's the Cowboys going to Philly. I think this one, Drew, is going to decide one of those where the winner of this game is going to either win the division or fight for it to make the playoffs. And I actually have the Cowboys winning this one, and I have the Cowboys finishing at 9-8.
I agree. Cowboys win 9-8. Will that be enough in a weak division? We'll see. It'll be interesting.
It will. I think part of what you're talking about as far as wait and see what happens, I think it's going to be one of those things that happened last year with Tampa Bay, with all these teams that are improving. I even see Chicago improving. Yeah. So you have the Rams are going to win the division. You have the Saints. You have so many teams out there that are going to be strong enough. They're going to fill in the second and third slot for the playoffs. Either the Cowboys win this division, or if they don't make the playoffs. That's my prediction for 2021. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. 9-8. Hopefully they win the division, because if they don't have a chance at a wild card.
Does McCarthy stay after that?
I think he does. Jones has a history of staying with coaches, maybe to the bitter end, to a fault. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Moving on to a different topic, Cowboy related. You see Jones's conference. I think
I did see that. I think that comes from, all this time. Jimmy Johnson's going to the Hall of Fame, and that'll be in a couple of weeks. I think Jerry's gotten to the point where he says, you know what, his time is running out. He's starting to see it, and that little arrogance is kind of dissipating, going away. And now Jerry's seeing things. He's apologizing. He's getting emotional. It's coming close. This is the year where things have to come together, and if they don't, I think Jerry really is going to kind of get to the point where he's still going to be the face of the Dallas Cowboys, but you're going to see him kind of step back a little bit and take less and less of a role.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting. I thought it was interesting. He was a little introspective about the relationship he had with Jimmy Johnson, the things that I think he's looking back now, kind of melancholy, saying, what could have been. And there were plenty of opportunities. It's hard to believe it's been 25 years since the Cowboys last won a Super Bowl. It's amazing. But, we'll see. I'm happy for Jimmy Jones getting in the Hall of Fame. Good for him. Yeah. Don't know if he should be in the Hall of Fame. Happy for him. That's for another debate. But, when we look at this on paper, if you looked at the team on paper, you see so much talent still at every position, but we still have them 9-8
Yeah.
because it's the Cowboys.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because a couple of questions that always come up with the Dallas Cowboys, and it's been ongoing for a while, and it wasn't with Jimmy. One of the things that Jimmy, and I'm glad you brought this up, with Jimmy Johnson, one of the things he had was he had great special teams, and you can name the special team players that he had on there. But also with his draft picks, he hit on every single one of them. And one of the things about Jimmy Johnson, I don't know if you remember the time where swerving Curvin Richards fumbled twice against the Bears. The next day he cut him, and then John Roper, one of the linebackers, fell asleep in one of the film sessions. He cut him. Jimmy did that because he didn't want any mistakes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the Cowboys. They haven't had that coach or that setting, that environment that Jimmy had.
Yeah, the culture hasn't been there. It'll be interesting to see how the McCarthy years end up. Hopefully it'll be successful. If you look at McCarthy's record, his first year was not very good with Green Bay. Second year improved significantly. I think he had 11 wins his second year. So hopefully he can replicate some of that magic with the Dallas Cowboys.
We need it.
So guys, thanks for listening in on our preview of the Dallas Cowboys. We have another segment we want to go to, and our show is called Take It to the Max. This is Max Arendanda, which, by the way, is a really cool baseball name.
Well, thank you. Never played baseball.
I know.
Well, I tried it once.
I mean, Drew Moeller, that sounds more like
bowler,
porn star, or a plumber, you know.
You could be both a plumber and a porn star.
But Max Arendanda, that just sounds cool. I wish I had a cool baseball name like you. So, Max, I've got questions here I'm going to take to you.
Okay.
He doesn't know what these are. It's a fun part of the segment. Mr. Bill's either going to agree or disagree. First question to you, Max. Dabo Swinney.
Yes.
You know, they're going towards this 12-team playoff system in college. Dabo says it's a bunch of crap, that there's really not 12 teams good enough to play in that large a playoff format. What are your thoughts?
Oh, good question. Well, with everything that's happening right now, even with, and I know you and I were talking about this earlier, but the Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma Sooners are making their way, and they will go into the SEC. The reason that this is happening is all about money. So with the playoff expansion in 2024, with Dabo's comments, Dabo knows it's about money as well. So all of this is going to be about money, more bowl games, more money, more revenue for everybody, even the likeness that we were talking about the other day, even for players, it's all about money. One of the questions that I have for Dabo with that comment would be, Dabo, if you're listening, make sure you click on the like there. Let me ask you a question, Dabo. When have you had a player here recently that because of his academic grades, he sat out for a game? It's not like that anymore. This has been about money forever, and it's continued to do that. So with Dabo's comments, I think he's kind of missing the mark there, and I think that's why you're going to see these super conferences. We'll probably have 4 or 5 here recently with the expansion of the playoff system in college. 10, 15 years from now, you're not going to recognize college football. Great question.
No, I agree, and it's a great segue. Saban has said that Bryce Young, who hasn't taken a snap, is already up to $1 million in endorsement deals. There's a kid named Mikey Williams. He's a high school basketball player who's just signed a multi-million deal with Excel Sports. What do you think about this likeness with college football and kids getting money before they've even taken a snap now in college football and in other sports?
Yeah, I think they should. I think this is something that's been long coming, that they missed a boat on that 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that this should have been something that they should have been doing and paying the players a long time ago. It's something where it doesn't matter if you're a basketball player, baseball player, football player, women's, men's, they bring in the money, especially when they go to the playoffs, go to bowl games. That revenue is shared with everybody, even the majority of it with the school. So why not get a little bit for these guys? I think it's finally here. I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I'm excited because when you bring that up, I see a basketball player here, probably somebody from Duke or from Kentucky, maybe Baylor, that's going to make a couple of $1 million a year and still in college getting their degree from that school. And I'm happy for that, and I hope it works out. And I'm excited. Good question.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting. It's hard to believe that even 10 short years ago, teams lost their bowl eligibility for the exact same things that they're endorsing now. So
they're the moneymakers.
It's getting into brand new territory, uncharted waters. God only knows where it could go. Hopefully it'll go for the better. Hopefully it won't go for the worse. It'll be interesting.
Great question.
Sanders is now a coach. Did you know Coach Deion?
Deion Sanders. You know what? I did hear something about that. He got upset or something.
He got upset.
Details.
Don't call me Deion.
That's funny you said that.
Call me Coach.
Deion Sanders is the master, and he was the first one to brand himself. He had a couple of names coming out of Florida State. It was Neon Deion, and it was Prime Time. He made money on this, and he always did it, and he did it very well. I applaud the guy. Everybody, if you have an opportunity, a chance, do it. And now he's in a position where he's the head coach. He's superior. He's the person everybody needs to look at for answers to all these questions out there so he can turn his program around. But he wants to be called coach. He wants to be called something than the actual brand name of Deion. Well, I say to Deion, Primetime, I say, turn that program around, get to a winning season, and we'll call you Mr. Sanders, Coach Sanders.
We'll call you Mr. Wonderful, whatever you want to be called, Coach.
Whatever you want to call, yes.
You know, Deion was one of those first look at me receivers. You know, he started, like you said, that whole kind of that whole receiver persona where they were creating images bigger than life for themselves. You had the Ocho Cinco's and the Irvins and Terrell Owens. Yeah. So he was kind of the forerunner for all that. Some thought it was nonsense. Some thought it was great marketing. It'll be interesting. I always have a special place in my heart for Deion because he played for the Cincinnati Reds.
And the Dallas Cowboys.
And I'm a big Reds fan. Yeah, that's true.
Go Deion, but you know what?
Sport athlete.
Change that program, and then we'll call you Coach Sanders.
You had touched on this. You know, it's interesting. A&M is very upset right now. They're pissed. They said, we joined the SEC. We wanted to be our own entity, and now here comes Oklahoma and Texas wanting to join the party. Any more thoughts on that?
Yeah, being
and what's the state? I'm sorry. What's the state of the Big 12 now with all this?
Well, that's a great question. I think the Big 12 right now has to make a decision. There is on our date today, there's actually a phone call tonight, and it involves every team in the Big 12 except for obviously the two, which is Texas and Oklahoma, but also Baylor is not going to be part of that phone call, and neither is West Virginia. West Virginia, I think, is going to be part of the ACC moving over, and I think Baylor becoming more of a basketball school along with Texas Tech. I see them, if I were to predict this, going to the ACC, Texas, and because of their brand and because of their big name, and Oklahoma can compete with anybody. So I think for them to move to the Southeast Conference, it's good. I think it's going to make more money. Now, I think for A&M, the stepbrother needs to kind of settle down a little bit. I think they're a little bit nervous because they're going to start playing Texas again and go back to that rival. Then maybe they're scared a little bit. I don't know. But for A&M to be a little upset, just bring it down a little bit. You'll get your money. You'll be okay as well. I think this is a good thing because at the end of the day, we're going to end up with 4 to 5 super conferences, and everybody's going to have a share of the pie.
Well, they do have a grant of rights, both Oklahoma and Texas, through 2025. So we could see some litigation involved if they do try to move, because apparently they're kind of locked into the Big 12 program, at least on paper, with what's been signed. I don't know the whole details of that through 2025.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with the playoff committee. That's part of this, but because of the playoff committee, they brought this topic up about a month ago, how they want to expand the playoffs from 4 teams to 12 teams. I think this is why we're at this decision-making time right now with these 2 colleges, and I think it's going to happen. At the end of the day, it's all about super conferences. It's about TV rights. It's about the audience, and it's about money. And as we keep going, this is the fun part about it. College football is going to change, and I'm excited for it, and I'm on board.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to put on my rally cap. Imagine this. Texas and Oklahoma join my beloved Big Ten.
I think that would be a great idea. I think they need to bring a couple more teams to that. I think Notre Dame needs to come over. All right, if we're going to do that and make it a little bit divvy it up 2 teams, but I think Notre Dame needs to come in as independent and also BYU. The reason why, because I think when you spread it this way and this way, the Big Ten, there's enough power there, and I think branding those big brands of those schools would be perfect. Personally, for me, I would love.
I think it'd be awesome. I just envision the Saturday before Thanksgiving, 12 o'clock. You've got Michigan and Ohio State playing each other in the Big Ten, and then the 3:30 game in the Big Ten is Oklahoma and Texas.
Oh man, I can't.
That would be freaking amazing. Will it happen? Probably not. But it's interesting. You're right that the dynamics of college football are literally changing by the hour. Well, folks, this concludes our show tonight. Again, we are live from Flying Whippet Productions. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. Please watch our pilot one that we had last week, and we hope to see you next week with some brand new topics. Have a great evening, everybody.
Thank you.